Welcome on in and enjoy this clip from the Pre-Patch Podcast.
Remnant 2, right? So this is
Hell yeah.
a game that we are I think all four of us are actually pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
I think we're
Oh,
all
you got
also
the doggo trailer. Nice.
waiting on bated breath. Like that's the biggest thing is like is this going to be did they learn from their mistakes
Yeah.
of the first one?
I think that's my biggest worry is just like, and we've talked about it in the past between all of us inside the Discord chat and everything like that. And we talked about it in the podcast when we kind of gave our review of the original Remnant game, where I think we had like 90% of the game was amazing. Like don't get me wrong. The game Remnant 1 was a phenomenal game for
I think we
for
all
the
agree on that.
development.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even like anything to the game just lacked longevity from some.
That was like I think between all four of us, maybe not all four. I don't remember if you had the same opinion, Bill, or not. I can't remember.
I
We'll have
think
to-
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Bill
Every
disagrees.
minute detail.
Bill disagrees. But between myself, Scruffy, and Sin, and I think I can speak for us in saying that I think that a little bit more randomness, a little bit more RNG in not only in the maps but also in like the abilities, the armor and the weapons would have made the replayability in the game feel a lot better. And I hope that that's what they do in Remnant too. Like that's my biggest fear is that they're just going to take what they did in Remnant and it's just going to be Remnant with prettier graphics essentially and archetypes.
I just
So-
want in a world where procedurally generated content, procedurally generated worlds, weapons, stat drops, stat things, like in a world of post Diablo 2, post Destiny 2, all of these types of I want procedurally generated and I want RNG, right? In a world of post Returnal, I want RNG, I want procedurally generated. Like that needs to happen.
If you go to the Gunslinger video, I think it's a little bit longer than the pet one, but
I'm on it now. That's it.
Can I also just say that the dog in this trailer it's literally a more badass version of dog meat.
Bro, it is, man.
Dog meat's like badass brother or like sibling.
So do we want to go into detail about what the two things that we're going into right now, what we're watching?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
So if you guys have played Remnant before, I don't remember if they had archetypes, did they?
They didn't. They just had
No.
starter classes, but basically every starter class could turn into everything.
Whatever
It
they
was a
wanted to.
one-size-fit-all character.
Yeah. So in this one, in Remnant 2, they're bringing out archetypes, which the two that we've shown today is the Gunslinger, I believe is what they call it, and the Handler? Was it the Handler?
The
or-
handler, yeah.
Yeah. So those are two archetypes that you can bring, and each of those archetypes has different certain key abilities. Like the Gunslinger has what you're seeing right now, which is Quick Draw, Sidewinder, and Bullet Storm, which each of those is a different specific type. The Gunslinger is for the people that didn't really like doing melee in Remnant, which was me. I personally didn't really play melee in general.
Loved melee.
And yeah, and he Sin played melee. I don't remember. Did you play melee as well, Scruffy, or were you more?
I did a little bit of everything, honestly.
And what did you play, Bill? I think you played.
I
melee as well.
I had a heavy with a hammer, and then I had a sharpshooter.
Yeah. So I was the odd one. Apparently, I was the odd one out that played entirely with ranged. But that's what the game the Gunslinger is all about.
Too. Yeah, I mean, like
What's that?
That's what this game offered. The capability of like Remnant is a shooter, Souls-like in every aspect, and it offered melee as another path to take as well.
Yep.
I'd say.
But the biggest thing with the melee and Remnant, or the gunplay in Remnant at least, was that like after a certain point you would run out of ammo extremely quickly because the ammo drops and such were a little bit harder
Especially
to
in the
get.
harder modes.
And especially in the harder modes. The Gunslinger is going to completely, from what I can tell, is going to completely. If you don't ever want to touch a melee weapon, go Gunslinger, because there's a perk that you literally pick up 100% more ammo when you pick up ammo crates.
Wow,
So-
those
Yeah.
codes on that revolver are tragic.
Yeah.
But
So-
this alone here shows me that they're at least looking a little bit more into longevity. Because if you have to go through and procedurally generate everything and go through these different segments to get like the different tiles that you're missing, the different bosses that you're missing, to get the different weapons that you're missing, and then you have to repeat that with another archetype since they do have specific perks that you're not going to be able to replicate
Well,
elsewhere.
and
It'll
the
help with
one
build variety.
the one thing that I saw as well is you're going to be able to have 2 archetypes as well. I think they show it in this video right here, where you can have like the gunslinger and then another archetype as well.
That's cool.
So you're going to be able to dual class, from
Mix
what
and
I can tell,
match. Nice.
which is cool. I think that has a lot of replayability for like the
Is it full access
back-end
to the
aspect.
second? Do
I
we know
think
if it's
so,
going to be full
yes.
access? Okay, because I know
I'm pretty sure they
Borderlands.
show it. I'm pretty sure they show it on this video. Later on, where it's got the entire, because there's 2 sides. When he opens it, there's the gunslinger side, which is the blue side on the left, and then there's a green side on the right. That's I think he's
blank.
playing some kind of like. Later on, he'll be playing some kind of like tank spec or something like that. But it looks good, man. Like it really does look good. I think that they did a really good job with keeping to the original Remnant. And here's what I was talking about. At level 10, you get 100% ammo right there, plus 100% ammo. But I think they did a really good job with sticking to the original Remnant, but they've just made it to where it's like it's aged, right? Because like the first boss that they showed, the weird like 4-legged like rat, is a boss from Remnant 1, and it's still the same arena from Remnant 1, but in Remnant 2 it looks like more overgrown, a little bit more like run down and everything like that. So I kind of like the way that they're going with that personally.
From what they've explained story wise, from the little bits of stuff that they've posted, it seems like the concept is that when we kicked the root off of Earth, it went to the other realms.
Yeah, it's very
So-
possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Yep.
Like I said, I loved everything about the damn game. I just wanted it to be procedural. I wanted there to be a reason for me to continue to try to hunt down loot and to go to different places and just there wasn't enough. In my opinion, like as someone that loves loot grind games and those kind of things, I want the RNG of what did this gun drop, right? Not that everybody got this gun, or as long as you get this gun, everybody's getting the same gun, like whatever. I want there to be perks and bonuses to it.
Unfortunately, from what I've go ahead.
I was about to say, I think the biggest problem with Remnant 1 as well was like that was a key component to it, where it was like once you got it, that was it. But I think the biggest issue was that there was just not a huge amount, right? Like they only had like 5 or 6 different armor sets, and I want to say they had like 15 or 20 different weapons.
They had a lot more armor sets than that. I think you're
I
underselling
don't think
it
they
a little
did.
bit.
I don't think they did. It might have been a little bit more, but it wasn't a lot.
That you could find and not like separate to like bosses and stuff too.
I know we'll have to correct it if I'm wrong, but I don't remember them having a ton. There definitely wasn't like enough to occupy your time to a certain extent. And the armor sets that there was, not all of them were very viable. Like they had a decent amount of, if they did have a decent amount of armor, you only used like 1 or 2 of them, and they were the only 2 that were viable. Like
there were
probably
18
more,
total.
18. Okay, still that's not a lot.
And that's after DLCs. So
and again, not all of them were viable. Like most of them were not very great.
Find like only a select few of armor sets that I found viable. But that was, I mean, to be fair though, there was multiple ways that you could play the game though, and you did state as well that you were one that was mainly going for the long range. I'm sure you found those ones more viable than say like melee armor sets and
but even still, the problem is that once you, like I've said, once you get it, you're done. Like there's no point to going, like the replayability there is just very low.
I'm with you on that aspect.
I do think we might be, like, at least you guys might be disappointed, because from everything I've seen, I have, like, when they zoom into the weapons and stuff, I don't see any like
stats
thing noting a stat differential. But they also haven't showed off any of the like the modifications or the spells. So that might be something that comes later. I don't think you're gonna get like a full Diablo style or Borderlands style, like, or I guess more akin to Destiny, where you get the specific weapon type and then it has rolls on top of it. I doubt we're going to get that. I think they'll add longevity in different aspects. Like, I have a feeling that the roguelike mode is probably going to come default because it was extremely well received in Remnant 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got to do something for longevity, like to keep the game.
I mean, at least
going.
It's
got to have.
The archetypes will offer some longevity. You can go throughout the game playing it a little differently with like playing different archetypes and classes and combining them even too. I mean,
I don't know.
now.
We'll see. So
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Patch Notes. Don't forget, you can catch our cast live every Thursday night at 10:30 Eastern Standard, right here on YouTube and Twitch.tv. You can also find us at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast, as well as the many other podcast platforms. You better be there.